Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. In previous videos we focused on grappling, judo and wrestling in terms of how effective they are for self-defense. But I was thinking, we haven't even discussed the striking arts. So today we're going to discuss which striking art is the most effective for self-defense situations, and I'm going to give my analysis on it. Okay, so the first style that I've decided to include is boxing, and in the background to this you can see the legend Mike Tyson knocking out his opponents in devastating fashion. Boxers, of course, have the best hands out of any striking style, that goes without saying, because that's what they train all the time. And they can end a fight very quickly with a one-punch KO. That's, of course, very important when you consider a self-defense perspective where you feel as though your life is threatened, because you want the entire situation to be over as quickly as possible, and a one-punch KO is a very effective way to do this. Boxers, of course, have very good footwork, and that makes it very hard to actually even hit them because they use this elusive and slick footwork to get in and out of dangerous situations very quickly. Boxing is also very useful if you are facing multiple idiots at the same time, because you stay on your feet, which is the number one rule of a self-defense encounter. You don't want to be lying around on the ground trying to submit someone. You want to stay on your feet, throw off some punches, and then get out of there as quickly as possible. And that's particularly true when facing multiple opponents. Then you certainly don't want to be on the ground. If it's 1v1, then maybe in some circumstances. But versus multiple opponents, always on your feet, and boxing is very useful for that. There are some disadvantages to boxing. There is no groundwork, as I said previously. There's no takedown defense, and it's actually quite easy to break your hand in a boxing situation. If you're just used to wearing gloves and having your hands wrapped, when you do take these off, it's quite easy to break the bones in your hand. Unless you're a criminal, you probably don't walk around on the streets wearing hand wraps and gloves. So when you do take these off, there is a chance, of course, that you might break your hand. And that is, of course, detrimental from a self-defense perspective. Boxing, of course, doesn't have any kicks either. It doesn't have any clinch work. But you will develop some very deadly hands training boxing. And of course you need to consider from a legal perspective as well. Knocking someone out may not be looked upon very kindly by a judge. So you need to consider, if your life is truly at risk, then maybe it's a good idea to use boxing. Otherwise, run away from the situation. That's the best thing to do. The next striking style that I've decided to include is Muay Thai. And for those of you that don't know, Muay Thai is one of the most brutal martial arts ever created. And you can see from this video clip running in the background exactly why that is. There was one guy that I used to study with that boasted to me that he'd never lost a single street fight since he started training Muay Thai. And of course, I don't recommend that you guys go out there and take up street fighting as a hobby. But it just goes to show how effective this particular style of fighting is for real combat. Both boxing and Muay Thai enable you to develop the warrior spirit. This is the ability to fight even under pressure and while you're taking punches, which are of course very uncomfortable. A lot of the natural instincts when you're hit are completely wrong. Many people, when they first start training striking or sparring, look down or look away when they're being hit, and boxing and Muay Thai will stop you from doing this and get you used to punches and enable you to fire back when you see an opening. So I would of course recommend that you train both boxing and Muay Thai if you have the time to enable to sharpen your self-defense toolkit. What do you think, guys? Do you agree with my analysis? Let me know in the comments below, and of course include your self-defense stories in the comments below.